What an interesting day today. So it started out with myredbook.com, Republican felons, sex traffickers, listers of sex trafficking, rapists, listers of rape, sexual assaulters, listers of sexual assault, assaulters, listers of assaulting, attackers, listers of attacking, 422 PC death threat makers, unwanted stalkers, listers of stalking, unwanted cyber stalkers, listers of cyber stalking, wannabe black hat hackers, listers of black hat hacking, bribers, listers of bribery, blackmailers, listers of blackmail, extortionists, listers of extortion, listers of kickback providing, kickback providers, listers of kickback receiving, kickback receivers, attempted murderers, listers of murder, obstructors of justice, witness intimidators, etc., etc., ex-mafia members, in quotes, Greg and Glen Chapel and their little comrades, making sure I didn't get my caffeine this morning. You know, I have my groceries delivered, so of course couldn't have my caffeine delivered. That meant I had to make a trip to Safeway to get something with caffeine in it this morning, which meant that I was in severe pain because my Achilles is still very painful. Like I'm doing my best to not put any weight on my foot, but when I don't get my caffeine, I gotta, put some weight on my foot. And when I need to move my stuff, I gotta put weight on my foot. Anyway, so I got my caffeine, barely made it to my doctor this afternoon. I got a message that I was going to be taken to my doctor's office, by Lyft or Uber or whatever. And, I was told the type of vehicle and all that. And it was an hour late. It was the same vehicle that, they told me was coming originally, arrived an hour late. So then we get to the area where my doctor is located, which is in a very nice area, if you want to call it that. Like, it's known as one of the nicer areas, even though I really don't see any difference in a lot of the areas anywhere for that matter. Like California, Florida, it doesn't matter. Like, it just, I don't see one area being nicer than another. Like, and I'll save that for another day. But so we get to this area where my doctor is located, and we're tailed by a myredbook.com Republican felon, etc., etc., Los Gatos police officer in an SUV. The number on that SUV was 12. I managed to get that. So yeah, on the back of the vehicle was the number 12. And it was an SUV. It was a myredbook.com Republican Felonious Popo in Los Gatos. And like, my Uber driver, Lyft driver, whatever, turned left. That Popo was behind us. Then we kind of pulled into the wrong driveway for my doctor's office, where it says exit only. Popo was still behind us. Then we had to move over to the left-hand lane to make a U-turn. Popo's still behind us. Make the U-turn, get to the stoplight, it's red. Popo's still there. Make the U-turn back towards my doctor's office. Popo is still there. Take a right-hand turn into the driveway and into the correct driveway for my doctor's office, and the Popo takes off. Yeah. In addition to all that, this morning, initially, when I tried calling using my personal phone, I couldn't hear anything. And I hear this faint ringing. I'm like, what the heck? You know, there was no phone call being made from the phone, even though I dialed the phone number. Like, there was nothing but silence. So I hear this faint ringing in the background. I'm like, did somebody download an illegal program on my phone that allowed them to take over my phone? So I hung up. And I made at least 3 more phone calls, or attempted to make 3 more phone calls. And sure enough, somebody downloaded an illegal program on my phone that allowed them to take over my phone and to have it ring from their phone or whatever. Like, you know, they could make phone calls from their phone, making it look like it was from my phone. And I could hear the ringing coming from, or not the ring, but I could hear the phone calls coming or going through the phones of myredbook.com, Republican felons, sex traffickers, solicitors of sex trafficking, all that. Greg and Glen Chapel, 2838 Concord Lane, Santa Clara, California, 95051. And Cliff Lou, 666 Fairlane Avenue, Santa Clara, California, 95051. So they took over my phone. We're making, you know, my calls go through their phones. So they were able to hear everything that I was saying. They knew who I was calling, all that. And you can do that by downloading illegal programs on somebody's phone. You know, they're like, I don't know, $15 or $20 a piece. But no matter, it was illegal. And after I called out myredbook.com, Republican felons, etc., for doing that, you know, Greg and Glen Chapel, all of a sudden, my phone started to work and I was able to make phone calls directly from my phone. So, yeah. Today's been a very interesting day. Then on top of that, I walk out of my doctor's office. Like, I get this phone call that my Uber is there, you know, waiting to take me home. And it's a truck. It's a Ford truck. And immediately, you know, my spidey senses were tingling, so to speak. And I see this guy's shirt. It's a blue shirt, and it says UCSF on his shirt. Myredbook.com, Republican felonious, University of California at San Francisco. I asked him if he worked there. He said yes. Guess who else works at myredbook.com, Republican felonious, University of California at San Francisco? That is correct. Myredbook.com, Republican felonious, pretending to be a phlebotomist, is actually a narc, or UC, David Cipriano. Plus, myredbook.com, Republican felonious, Beth Kriegsman used to work at myredbook.com, Republican felonious, University of California at San Francisco. You know, the sister or sister-in-law of myredbook.com, Republican felon pretending to be a doctor, is actually corrupt DOJ Ari Kriegsman. Yeah, this is all not new for me. This is like my life. I don't know. I am just really tired of all this baloney. And I'm tired of all this illegal BS happening to me. Yeah, and trust me, the guy showing up from UCSF, that was not a coincidence. And then he's going on and on about how he loves the outdoors. And as you guys have seen on here, like, you know, I've posted about loving the outdoors. There's no doubt in my mind that Myredbook.com Republican felon pretending to be a doctor, corrupt DOJ, Ari Kriegsman sent that guy to bring me home. That's not okay. And that's where I'm ending this video.